I was kind of fussing around with you, so I apologize for that. I'm going to turn that around a little bit and turn that down a little bit, I guess you should say. But I just want to, I'm going to go live at in the members only. So thank you. Welcome to my channel. If you are a member, you get to see things a little bit early. So I apologize for the little fussing here, trying to figure out how to get this to go this way. So unfortunately, I do want to go landscape here so that you can see everything, and a little bit of excitement going on around here because I was asked to do a demo of some of the new Christmas launch or the holiday launch products that are coming out next day. Today is Friday, September 5th. It is, I'm going to call this my Christmas launch Chronicles, Craft and Chronicles, because I am frantically working and I can't go public. So this is going to be a members only until I can release it. So thank you for tuning in to my channel and coming alongside with me as I start to get the projects done. So basically what happened was Wednesday, today is Friday, Wednesday, the company called me and asked me if I would be in doing this series, or doing, like, I think it's supposed to be 12 to 35 minutes. That's a big spread. Presentation on some of the some of the new transfers. And basically what they did was they overnighted me yesterday the new stuff that I'm working on. So that's a big secret and I can't tell anybody what's coming out. But we are going to today go ahead and get some things prepped for that. And let's just say you're along for the ride. That's what I'm just going to say about it. You are along for the ride, and clearly it's a ride. I feel very scattered because I have so many things I want to do. So many things. So I need to prep some surfaces because I need them, you know, to be like through the magic of TV to be ready to go. So I'm going to start with that first. And this is a brand new surface. It actually, they go together. Oops, this one's broken. Shoot. That probably happened on my own. I probably sat on it or dropped it or something. Shoot. Anyway, I'm going to have to be really careful. I'm not going to put that one together just yet because I don't want to wreck it. But this is the idea. There's two different sizes. This is the smaller one, and basically they're like a 3D little freestanding tree. And the cool thing is they're made out of this kind of press board, this MDF press board, and they're easy to like break apart and then store away, right? I do see that, look what happens when I put it together. The black kind of makes a mark. So that's probably going to happen, but that is okay. It's not going to show. So I'm going to paint all of these, and I like to do my decorations in threes. So I am going to start out by just painting. So this is going to be kind of the boring part of prepping, but I'll kind of talk about some of the things I'm working on to get ready for this, because basically what I got to do is make a big vignette of all the things I made with the new products. This is crooked. There we go. Driving me crazy right behind me. I have to make a vignette of everything that I am using and then share that, but I also need to include some like a DIY or two, some tricks and tips as well in that under 35 minute video. So that is what we are going to do. I think I learned something today. I was messaging the person at home office that I've been talking to, Amelia, and she was like, I'm like, how do I get such large videos to you? She's like, what device are you using? And I said, iPhone. And she said, oh, that's easy. You just send me you go into share and send it. So I was like, that's a new one for me. All right, so I'm going to try not to get too much of this water into this. I always, when I'm doing a base coat, I try to get a little bit of water going in my paste because it just makes it go on a little bit smoother. If the paste is too thick, it's gonna kind of clump around and make big spots. It's hard to get it evened out. And maybe I should really go through and tape these, but I don't know. So I was going between, trying to figure out where to do the vignette. I was going to do it in my dining room because I've got this, because I had kind of signed up to do like, I had signed up to do farmhouse, simple type of things, you know. If you've been watching me at all, you know that I don't even think painting the surface is all that simple because I'll put you down here a little bit more so you can see what I'm doing. Sorry about that. Because it just is time consuming. So it's hard for me to keep my mind on doing the surfaces. So it just is what it is. So we're just gonna get a base coat here. This is vanilla paste. And I know that each side is probably going to take 2 to 3 coats, probably 3 coats. I just did the club project yesterday with the frame, and that one took me 3 coats to get a nice even coat. So it's kind of a trick to get it not too watered down, but enough watered down that it's not lumpy and brush strokes. So, but brush strokes are okay. We just want it full coverage. That's the biggest thing. So, and I don't want to, I'm trying not to go over too much on the edges because I kind of like the black outline on this. And if you were concerned about going out of the lines, just tape. I'm too lazy because I'm doing 3 of these and you have to do both sides. So anyway, I was trying to decide between using my dining room wall, which is a shiplap wall with old antique wood that came out of my bathroom, because I could feature the whole wall with pictures and stuff like that. And then I have a buffet in there, and then I realized that my ceiling in my dining room is not finished, which probably could be avoided for showing. The lighting may not be great there either. That's the other part I was kind of thinking about in the back of my head. And then I realized that the wall where my buffet, because I would use the buffet as well, because we've got, 3D trees. We want to stand them up on something. The wall can't take it all. So anyway, needless to say, I was kind of going between that wall in the dining room with the buffet or doing my fireplace and doing a vignette on my fireplace. So I guess the fireplace is. So this is one of those parts, it's kind of tedious to just paint, but hey, come along in. I may even give some time to, after this is all over, I may try to put the bookmarks on it so that you can see. You could just go forward. If you don't want to watch me do this, maybe you do. Maybe you want to watch me squirm about this. Before I shut this up yesterday after doing my club project, I did spritz a little water in my vanilla paste so that it was softening up a little because it was really kind of thick. I like the softness of the vanilla, and that's why I'm choosing to do vanilla instead of like white. I almost just stuck my finger right into that, my Band-Aid. I'm always just kind of covered with paste all the time. Good thing it's non-toxic. So this is our non-toxic paste, and we use them in our transfers, but you can use them for painting, base coat on all of your products. So that's what we are doing today. And then once I get a base coat on these, then we're going to put patterns on each one. So they're going to have different patterns. Let's see if we can turn this off here. And like I said, I want to do 3. So I think I'm going to do, the larger set. And of course, the little set is coming out. I'm going to do the, these come in 2 packs, 1 large, 1 small. So if you want 3s, you'd have to either buy like at least 2 sets and have an extra one. Or you would have to get 3 sets so that you have 6. You have 2 sets of 3. I'm just going to do this. I kind of was talking to the ladies at our local craft store because I do craft classes, and I love doing the craft classes, and they were like, yep, I want to do the trees for sure. I want to do the trees. But they were also saying they would like to do 3 trees. So I think I'm going to have to buy, you know, multiple packs for each person. What was that? I keep hearing like clunking sounds outside. I'm in my little Airstream camper. If you haven't watched me before, then it may seem kind of weird because I'm kind of stuffed in here. It's a little vintage Airstream camper, but it's all my space. Sometimes, you know, we just need to be grateful for what we have for space. And that for sure is what I am. I'm kind of hoping that by, you know, doing all 3 of these at the same time with the same base coat, it'll just make it so when I get, you know, down to the final one here, the first one will be dry and I could do the second coat, you know, just keep working my way back and forth. Of course, then we have the other side too. So there's that. But, so anyway, fireplace it is. I'm going to do my mantle, so I'm clearing that off. And of course, you know, like we've had kind of a hectic fall. We had right before school starts, the week before, we did have fair, so that was a little crazy town for us. Got a little water because that was thick there. So anyway, needless to say, I think this is making me deep clean the house a little bit, at least around the fireplace. So I'm getting things set up, and I've decided to go with a theme of farmhouse, kind of a vintage farmhouse Christmas look. So we'll see how this works out for us. And it's just going to be, I kind of have a vision. I made my husband get out some Christmas trees, so we're going to be making some ornaments. And on these trees, I want to put 3 different patterns. I love the patterns on these. I kind of like the idea of having a different pattern on each one. And so I think that will be a beautiful addition. I really like trees on my mantle. I have a huge collection of trees. So my husband hates my trees, my fake trees. Personally, he prefers real trees. I'm not going to lie to you. His preference is real trees. I would prefer fake trees, but both trees I'm allergic to because there's dust on the fake trees, and then there's the pine trees that I'm allergic to. I'm just plain allergic to. So anyway, but he prefers the real tree, and for years and years, we pretty much had a real tree in the house. So anyway, it's a hate-hate relationship for him. I've got all these little tiny trees. I use them for my display when I go out, and not these kind of but you know, like the green fake trees. And I've got like 3 varying sizes I like to use when I am doing my shows, because then I put all my ornaments on you know, the trees, and people could buy them right off the trees. They can see how they look. Okay, 1 round done. So anyway, last year, you know, every year he hates bringing them out. He hates bringing them down. He hates getting them out. The kids, you know, everybody hates to try to straighten out all the branches to make it look good. It's a hate-hate relationship for everybody, but I like them. I like them in my display. I like the way they look because I think they look nice for displaying things. I am noticing one thing. As I'm painting this one side, there's a little bit of curl into the wood, and I have found this before with thinner surfaces. If you paint one side and the other side does not have the wetness on it, it will kind of curl. So the good news is once you paint both sides, it will clean that up. So, and we're going to use, I think I'm going to use 3 different patterns on these. So each tree will have a different pattern. It's not imaginative, I don't think, but kind of fun that you can make your own tree. So we're just gonna try to get a pretty smooth little coat on each of these. I'm not finding like the middle ground. I keep getting too much water or too little water. It's just, there's no middle for me today. I don't know. Just keep working with it till you get it. And I'm trying to, it would be nice to do this in 2 coats, to be honest. And actually some of the patterns probably would cover up any like streakiness, but I want to make sure it's done right. You could also take this and instead of doing, you know, you could do the thicker and probably do 2 thicker layers, but like I said, sometimes it's just better to go with thinner layers. You find it's, I don't know, just a better option. I'm actually going to go into this. I'm hoping I have enough vanilla to go for this. So I'm going to go kind of neutral. I have like a really dark gray wall behind both sides of the fireplace, which isn't probably going to show all that much because I'm going to decorate. It'll show on one side of the fireplace because, you know, behind the scenes, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess, and it'll be, you know, I finally got, this was motivation to get my 4th of July stuff put away, which literally kind of just got out. So, you know, I made it by 4th of July, but barely. Let's just say that. Barely made it by 4th of July with the 4th of July decorations. So I'm kind of thinking about, you know, doing this white. I don't know. Let's see. I think it'll just be better if we do one more coat. Unfortunately, and this is, you know, it's totally drying in between these. Like I said, I hope I have enough vanilla. I maybe should have done like a base coat maybe to get the brown down, but I might have to move to bright white instead of vanilla. I can always add a little bit of brown or over it or whatever, kind of make my own. I was really kind of using vanilla. In a way, I would use the bright white and then add a little brown around the edges or whatever to try to make it a little bit more rustic looking and not so bright, but it's okay. We have to do that. Like I said, maybe I should have. You could also spray paint these. That would almost go better, maybe quicker. Also, I don't know. It might go better with a foam brush. Although, I don't know. I don't really care for it. So anyway, I got out my husband, he goes, I got the Christmas trees out. And then he goes, last night, because when I got home from orchestra, he was like, that'll be enough, right? And I'm like, well, I kind of said I wanted the, he goes, well, I didn't get the garland down, so the trees will have to be enough. And he was kind of like pretty final about it. So I was like, I didn't really argue, but then now I'm like, I definitely need the garland. There's nothing for on the mantle. And I looked at I'm like, well, maybe I have something in my craft boxes I can use. And I went to look, and it's like that really cheap garland that they have at the Dollar Tree. So that's not going to work. It's not going to look right for what I want to do. And I have this really nice garland, so I want it. So anyway, pretty exciting things going on. Trying to think of how to, I kind of filled in this hole here, so I don't want it to dry up that way. So I'm just going to take my tool and run it through there and kind of grab that paint out of there, because we don't want a big lump in there so that the trees don't go together. So one of the patterns I'm going to use on the tree is what I got. And the other two, I think I'm going to beg, borrow, and steal from other places. Actually, we have some new launch with some new I've gone to just putting my distilled water here right into my bottle because it is pretty dry in there. It's all coming out consistently pretty dry, so some of that's my own fault because I sit here and paint away for long periods of time and leave it open. Last year we had something very similar to this, but they were a little thicker wood, and I have to say I kind of like this thinner wood a little bit better. I just like the consistency of it better. It's a lot smoother surface and easier to paint. But last year's version, we had a kind of the same style of deer, and I liked them, but I don't have a lot of room for them. So I made my demo, and then I put it up at my craft sales in the fall, and it was like one of the first things that sold. So, and that was it. We were out. So if you love these trees, you should grab them right away. This one's, maybe I've finally gotten the good consistency going here finally. So it's kind of weird. I'm like home alone. My Lydia came home from college real quick this last night. She actually got a ride because her car was in the shop with her dad. And I'm not worrying too much about getting that outside edge, although I don't want it to have the white on there. I'm going to just come back with sanding block and just sand it back down to that black look that it has. So I'm just not taking a huge amount of care for it. Just being my messy self today. But anyway, so Lydia came home for her dental appointment, and then she was going to go stay with her sister and take care of her kids tomorrow for her, so that she and her husband could go for a fun day out for her birthday. And unfortunately, Lydia brought the gunk home from college. And so I'm trying not to have it. I took my Quercetin this morning, trying to prevent it from coming on, but I will not lie. It's hard to tell because we are so smoky here right now that it's really hard to tell whether my coughing fit I had this early this morning. I woke up with a coughing fit about 3 o'clock and could not stop and felt like I had a lot of phlegm and stuff going on. So that was kind of yucky to deal with. And I'm like, I don't know. I would go take care of my grandbabies for her so that they could go, but I don't know if I now caught it too, because I feel like I have, and I sound terrible because it's like I said, I can't tell the difference. Am I just sounding terrible because of the smoke? Am I sounding terrible because of the allergies I have? I've had some coughing fits at night because we realized that the air conditioner, our bedroom is right at ground level, or just a little bit above ground level, and it seems like the neighborhood strays are living underneath it. They're coming in, and I'm highly allergic, so I'm having basically an anaphylactic reaction. Well, these two actually look kind of nice. Don't those look nice? Okay, here we go. Round 3. These aren't too bad. I would say, there is a little bit that's, I just want to even that out. In this coat, I might actually do a little bit more liquidy and just make sure I get all the places, because I want a nice even look to it. And I think it'll be very worth it. Got this. Looks like where I'm holding it is where I'm lifting up. Let's see if we can get a little more paste on that. Get it better coverage. I don't want to have the brown showing through. You could if that's what you like, or just actually, I mean, the other day I did that fall be giving sign with Snoopy and Charlie Brown, and I loved it on just the brown without painting it, but it is kind of dark, so. Trying to pile it up in those spots. Sometimes that works. A lot of times if you overbrush in a spot, it just comes off worse than it started. So patience is always a virtue. Because my backdrop on my mantle though is a wood color, and it tends to be, it's a little bit on the orange side. It's not like totally 80s orange, but it is a little orangish. I'm worried about putting everything, you know, I don't want to put everything in brown. So I think the white will be a good backdrop. All right, that one looks, I'm just going to leave it because it looks pretty good. Most of this third coat is mostly just touch up where maybe I missed it a little bit. So we got lots of other projects on my mind. There's so many things. I want to make some ornaments. I'm having my husband cut some things that for me. Just regular chop hacksaw, chop saw. Nothing fancy. We don't have a fancy cutter or anything, so. I keep putting my finger in the, at least I'm consistent, right? You can see where I put my fingers. Someday when my kids like inherit all my stuff, they're gonna have my fingerprints on everything because I paint everything and then get it all over the place. I'm kind of a mess, hot mess. You can see a spot right there. It's funny how you just kind of look away and then you look back and you're like, oh, there's still a spot there. And this is just one side. It's so exciting. So, and of course, you know, this is like watching paint dry, right? I might do a test on the other side. You can see how these are kind of getting bowed, and that's because you have one side wet. Instead of reaching across, I'm going to bring this one over here. It does, like, wood is porous, so it does pick up the moisture. And when only one side has the moisture, then you're getting lots of give to it. And then I'm going to let these dry because usually I'm like demoing and moving too fast. And don't always give it a time to dry really well. And that's when you have like boo-boos start to happen. So I'm going to try to be patient even though I want... See, the thing is I've got plenty of projects to do, so it's going to be a thing. I think we're getting close here. These two over here actually are looking pretty good. Switch them. These two are looking pretty even. Maybe a little bit right there. seems unreal we're doing Christmas. My daughter was, Lydia, when she was here, was like, so now are you going to have the mantle decorated for Christmas all the way till Christmas? I'm like, it does seem a little dumb to like decorate it up and then pack it up again. Boy, I hope I have enough of this vanilla. We're only doing one side here. That would not be good. I might kind of just do the spots, do a spot check here, and then flip them over and start doing the other side. Just because we are running out of paste. Look at this. I had about, I would say, a third of this in here, and now we are down to just the side. So I'm hoping, I guess I could look and see more. This is Dune. Dune is very close in color, and that used to be the color I would always use. What is this one? Oh, I got a whole nother vanilla. Yay. I think we're good. We're good. That one's pretty dried up too. I'm gonna get that one out and start wetting it down. All right, these are starting to look a little tacky. I just got a little tacky, but I don't think all of them, like these small ones I started with. Just gonna mix this around a little bit, make sure we get that one going. See if we can't get, I think I have a couple. I don't know how many. This is bright white. This is a bright white, basically gone. Lots of bright white, so. I do have a packet, so we might have to go to the packet. I don't know. Who knows? I'm going to flip it over here and just kind of start one at a time doing the other side. So trying to get all the goodies on the side too. Get a first coat on here. So you could come back, you know, like if you like the sides black like it is, like it was cut that way, I guess, is how it got cut. You could come back and do, you know, just sand it up a little bit. It's going to come off. You can also just come back with black. You could do like a black paste or a black marker along the sides just to make it look that way again. So there is redemption if you... I think the best way is probably going to be the sanding block myself, because it does get a little uneven. Sometimes you get a little paint, you know, paste in some places and not in others. So I'm not necessarily trying to get the sides, but I'm also not trying not to. So I'm just not a very neat brusher. I don't know. See, if I turned off the air conditioner and just let it go to the heat, it would be drying before I got it done. I know it's not very exciting, but I hope that you'll, you know, come along for the adventure of getting together kind of a production, a single-handed. It's the Chronicles of my crafting here. I was so excited when the company called me, but then there's this thing where you're like, oh my gosh, what did I sign up for? Because we did have to put in an application and say what kind of decorating we do and what we would like to, you know, showcase and whatnot. And so that was all a part of the application process. And then, you know, then we didn't hear anything for a week or two, and all of a sudden it was like, get this call a few days before I have to have it done. So now I'm like in that panic mode, like, oh my goodness, I have so much to do and so little time. I think that's how it is. And she's like, well, if you need more time and you want to do the next one, that would be fine too. Though we really need somebody. And I was like, no, the truth of the matter is I would absolutely wait till the last minute anyway. So, kind of a procrastinator. Love to hear. Are you a procrastinator? And like I said, for now, I just don't have any members so far. But if you become a member, you get to get all the juicy stuff before everybody else does. Sometimes I make up, things. Sometimes I have failed experiments, like sometimes my crafting just is a hot mess and it doesn't work out and it never really gets released to the public. And that's what you get to see is the, behind the scenes, the things that work and don't work. And a lot of times, like if I go on vacation or whatever, I will do ahead my recordings. You get to see that. And my recordings are all like, you get what you get. You see what you get. You get me just the way I am. I don't do the editing usually on my videos. Shorts I do. I will take another part of it. But all right. Back to these. They're like kind of tacky to the touch. And you can see like how big of a difference. Look at when you paint one side of wood. This goes for anything really. Any wood, you're gonna have a little bit of curling, and that's the way. Like whenever I've done signs, for craft fairs and stuff, I try to get both sides. If I find that I used to use a lot more like of the cheap surfaces, and then it was like everybody was using the cheap surfaces, and people were kind of on to me. So then I started using mostly the nicer surfaces for my craft fairs, so I didn't have to do this as much. Do both sides. I got kind of spoiled. I like not having to. I didn't think about it, but I could. I want to make a giant tree pillow. And then I've got an idea for that. If you guys have watched any of my stuffies or pillows that I've made in the past, particularly my rabbit ones, I want to make a giant tree pillow. I'm hoping to get that done too. So that's going to be one of my other projects. In addition to that, I've got a cleaning job that's due this weekend. This got a little extra, I think. Feels like my paintbrush is coming apart, so I'm kind of holding it together. I think it's so dry here. We don't get rain usually. Once our rainy season is early spring, so once our rainy season is done, it's done, and our furniture falls apart. Anything with wood glue in it really falls apart here. It's just really dry, and we mostly won't. We've had a few rain days, actually unusual ones this summer. A couple weeks ago, we got some rain, and it's like, oh, thank you. That was a nice relief. Because we can go a long time. It's not abnormal. My mom goes, oh, are you guys in a drought? And I'm like, it's not really a drought. It's like normal not to have rain. She lives in Wisconsin, so here where we are located, we're not in the desert, but we are on a high, what do they call it? High plains or something like that. I don't know what the location is called, but not a lot of. So as you do this second coat of, the back side of these, it's not really the back side because they're 3D, you can see all sides, but as you do the back side, the board will flatten out and not be as bowed. So that's the good news. All right. Whew. My carpal tunnel loves me today. Here we go again. Number 2. I know it's not very exciting to watch painting dry. Hopefully I'm entertaining enough. I don't know, we'll see. If I were to go back and do some editing, I could speed it up for you, but then you wouldn't get to hear all my commentary, right? I need some more water. This is really using, it seems like this vanilla as a whole, like as a color, it seems like it's a lot more dry than, I don't know, it's just a thicker paste than usual. I don't know if it's just the batch I have or now, ooh, now I got chunks. Don't want those. Get those off. No, 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 no. Incorporate. There we go. Have that one nice and thick. The idea is to make the second coat so thick that the third coat is only just a touch-up job. That's my thought. Some people like to just do really thick coats, but what I don't like about the thick coats is like the little like brush strokes and things you can't get flattened out. So, but now, you know, 3 coats in, I might be getting to that point anyway. On both sides. That was a nice coverage there. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to, oops, won't do that. Put the hot glue gun to my paintbrush. So anyway, I don't know what the solution is about furniture, because all of our furniture that I brought from Wisconsin that was like my grandparents' furniture and stuff, they're all falling apart and cracking up and stuff because the wood is just so dry. Probably goes to show what is going on with my piano as well. It's probably too dry. I probably need a humidifier on my piano. Who knows? I do tune it once a year. It's not doing too bad, but now I'm getting that paste all the way up the brush. All the way up the brush here. Trying to get it kind of, there's some, the last bits always seem like they have like lots of chunks and stuff. So I'm just trying to incorporate that so we don't have so many chunks. Get it all used. Ooh, that was a lovely little paint right there. It actually was really good. I'm not being sarcastic at all. It just, I put it down, it was like, ooh, that was beautiful. It was like nice and easy to spread, a little on the thicker side. Yay! You like that? It does have a couple of goobers in it though. We don't want those on there. What happens is if you have some of those like chunks of paint on your piece, they kind of stand out. And then when we do the transfer on it, it will peel it off sometimes because it's just kind of an extra chunk of paint. This one's in particular getting a lot in there. So I'm going to grab some water and rub at those spots and see if I can't bring it down a little bit. We're definitely getting more chunky as we go along here. And it's getting around the edges too. So lovely. Well, this one looked really good. Maybe the little ones are just cut out of a little bit different wood. That could be too. I just stuck that whole Band-Aid. So I don't know. My eczema, like I have so many, like my fingers crack around the edges, and then I get these little dried edges too. And it could be a combination. It's pretty much, I'm sure it is my eczema, because I could put as much lotion on. I mean, certainly it helps a little bit. Look at me, I'm getting so far up here in the paste, it's all over my fingers. I can't even feel that thumb. I'm gonna open a new one. Yay. That one was kind of dry. I know it's, you know, it's funny because people who don't have eczema just are like, put on lotion, but I don't know. My hands just crack away at the tips and around my cuticles. So this finger that has this Band-Aid like cracked right under the nail down the middle of my finger. And then the skin around the crack like turned into this really dry crack of like layer of skin that was just sticking up and everything. So I had to peel that off, and then of course that peels all the skin around my thumb or my finger off. I've also got it going on my thumb as I'm wiping my thumb here. And yeah, it's just a mess, and it hurts. My fingers hurt and my hands hurt, and I think some of it's also like the circulation is not there from my carpal tunnel, so it's almost loose here. I have tried to glue these, I guess, and it hasn't worked very well, but sometimes just getting these crimped a little around the wood better, I don't know if it works or not. I like to think it works, because I certainly don't want to throw away a brush just because it's dry. I maybe need to, I think I just made it worse. I think I cracked my handle. Let's see how this one's going. Well, this is gonna get my bits and pieces. Oh, this one's due. That one is definitely dried out. Put some water in there. This is getting all my bits and pieces cleaned up, for sure. My dune over there. See, they're very close in color. This is vanilla, this is June. Oh yeah, this is maybe looking a little more promising, I don't know. No. It is absorbing it. That's not helping. But it's not there yet. Well, this is definitely using it to the very last drop. That's for sure. We're gonna make it happen. Make it work somehow. It's just a little more difficult as we get low. Now, you could use like another kind of paint from the store, you know, like another craft paint if you wanted to do this base coat. And it'd probably be, you know, like as far as cost goes, a little bit cheaper. But I like to have my projects kind of match each other. And maybe when I do this project with, because we're talking about doing an in-person class with my ladies here in town, I think I might just bring in some of the like acrylic paint, and maybe we'll do the base coat in acrylic paint. And that's how we'll figure it out. Because I can already see like how much of this paste it's going to use up, and I don't want to wait, you know, sometimes when you're not used to, like I'm messy as it is, but if you can imagine having 15 ladies use all this, I think it might work better just to do the acrylic paint, because it'll be more cost effective. And it might give better coverage because this is really meant to go in the transfers. So let that sit there, I guess. Just one more coat on each one. And remember that third coat, it's more of a touch-up coat. So hopefully we can get this to work here for us. I feel like this side is a little more streaky, but at least I got all three. I've got all of them kind of going the same way. So we'll just see. It'll work out. It's just crafting. There's nothing that's, you know, we can fix it. Everything is fixable, so that's the good news. Like I said, I'm going to do 3 different patterns. I love our patterns. You can use any pattern you want. One of the patterns that I'm contemplating using is actually this month's club transfer, because it is such a cute plaid transfer. And then the other thing I'm thinking about doing is, should I do all of these in black, or should I do them all in a gold? I don't know. Tell me what your opinion is. I did the other one in gold. I have some gold here. Should I do a mix of it? I kind of like, because one of them's going to be a music background, so kind of like the music to be realistic looking by being black. So I think I'll, for sure, maybe I'll start with the music one, and then we'll work our way through it. How does that sound? We'll see what we do. This one almost looks like it doesn't need a third coat. We did good there. All right, well, you guys get the idea. I'm gonna let you go. I'll continue getting this completely base coated. I appreciate you listened to the end. Congratulations, you win a prize. No, I'm just kidding. But I appreciate you. Stay tuned. Lots of excitement going on, lots of new projects going on for the holidays. You'll get to see some of it right here in my back office here. Joining my membership does help me get more content out there. It helps me as a business owner, and I really appreciate y'all. I hope you have a very blessed day, and make sure you keep on crafting.